It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Hint Hive, amplifying women's voices. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, queen bee of this hive, as well as your feminist life coach and psychotherapist. Today, we're diving into a topic that so many women quietly struggle with, year after freaking year. The winter holiday season. Yep, that season. The one that's supposed to be magical, cozy, warm, nostalgic, and full of joy, but somehow ends up feeling like an Olympic emotional triathlon where women are expected to be the chief memory maker, therapist, logistics coordinator, decorator, chef, gift strategist, mediator, and miracle worker. Phew. And listen, I'm calling it out. Because the holidays should not feel like a performance review. They shouldn't feel like a pressure cooker. They shouldn't feel like you're one burnt cookie away from total emotional collapse. The holidays should feel like connection, rest, joy, and meaning, not a psychological endurance test. Today, we're unpacking why women carry such an intense emotional load during the holidays, as well as where those expectations come from, the psychological layers underneath our holiday stress, how to rewrite the scripts we've inherited, and how to step into a holiday season that actually nourishes you. This is going to be empowering, grounding, and honestly, a permission slip. So let's get into it. First up, let's talk facts about the emotional labor of the holidays. Because here's the truth. Women do the majority of holiday-related emotional and domestic labor. This isn't just a feeling, it's actually measurable. Studies from Pew and NPR show that women spend twice as much time as men on holiday preparations, and that includes gift shopping, menu planning, cooking, decorating, organizing holiday gatherings, managing family dynamics, remembering everyone's preferences, and keeping track of events, tasks, and emotional needs. And the mental load? Yikes. Women are typically the holders of who's allergic to what. Don't forget Aunt Linda's candle obsession. Did we buy the teacher a gift? Who will sit next to who so nobody starts drama? What time do we need to leave so nobody gets offended? Any of this sound familiar? Women also report significantly higher stress levels than men during the holidays. Primarily because the burden of making the holiday special falls disproportionately on them. And here's the kicker. Emotional labor, that invisible, constant work of managing feelings, soothing tensions, and taking care of everyone's comfort, spikes dramatically during family gatherings. Ladies, this is not in your head. This is real. You are not failing the holidays. The holidays are failing you. Now let's talk about the psychology behind why women get cast as holiday MVPs year after year. Because this pressure is not random. It's rooted in decades, literal decades of conditioning. Beginning in childhood, girls are taught the role of the caretaker, the peacekeeper, the one who remembers the birthdays, the one who organizes the party, and the one who considers everyone else first. By adulthood, many women feel obligated to be the holiday heart, even if nobody explicitly says it. It becomes an unspoken expectation. We are told a good mom makes the holidays magical. A good daughter keeps the peace. A good partner makes the home warm and festive. A good hostess anticipates every need. These roles are part of gender role conditioning, the culturally reinforced idea that women should be nurturing, detail-oriented, emotionally available, endlessly patient, and self-sacrificing. In the winter holidays, they are like gender roles put on steroids. Everything becomes amplified. You are not imagining the pressure. The culture built it. And you know what? Even those of us who set boundaries like a boss and who teach people to set boundaries like a boss, your host here, even those of us who think we have it all nailed down, guess what? We struggle. Because every single time you set and enforce a boundary, every single time you push back on the patriarchy, something inside of you makes you feel guilty, makes it feel wrong, makes it feel like you're going against the grain. I have had a resurgence of this disgusting self-expectation that I'm in charge of so many things. And, quite honestly, I think it's because of the stuff going on in my personal life right now. I have become a caretaker to an older family member, and I am so incredibly overwhelmed. And now we are in full swing in the holiday season. And I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately, and I'm pretty frustrated with myself because I have fallen back into my socially dictated gender roles. I've got to take care of everything. I have to remember doctor's appointments. I have to remember dates. I have to make this phone call. I have to remember this person's birthday. I have to remember this, that, and the other. And I feel, to be honest, I feel badly for my husband because we were in Costco the other day and he's like, "So are you going to make lasagna for Christmas dinner?" And I just wanted to scream at him. And it wasn't just because of that question. It was the decades of conditioning behind it. Why me? Why do I have to take my holiday and do all this work? And it's something I'm really, really struggling with. So ladies, it's not just you, it's us. It's all of us. We struggle with these things no matter how progressive we think we are. We are still plagued by the burden of making this season, this winter holiday season, magical for everybody around us. And I'm not immune to it. And I consider myself to be somebody who fought really hard to learn how to say no and be okay with it. But here I am, right alongside every one of you, struggling with it too. And I have to actively work not to snap at my husband about it. So that's what's happening in my head lately. I am feeling incredibly resentful, and I'm having to work very hard to do the reflecting that I need to do in order to make the changes that I need to make. But it's just that expectation, I think, and I think my lady listeners are really going to relate to this. It's my holiday too. So why do I have to do all this work? Right? Like that's kind of what's been circling around in my head. I have to wrap the presents because I'm the one that makes them look nice. I have to cook the food because I'm the one that makes it taste good. Like, why? Why? Why can't we have, you know, why can't someone else make the dinner, right? Like, why can't someone else do the thing? So just know that I stand with you in solidarity and empathy as we keep running through these things in our head as we try to figure out what we want our holiday to look like. So let's move on and talk about the invisible pressure that we feel, this magic maker myth, right? Let's talk specifically about this magic maker role that we have been thrust into, because there's a huge cultural belief, especially in Western countries, that mothers, wives, and daughters are responsible for creating holiday magic. And that includes, curating the vibe, maintaining traditions, holding emotional space for freaking everyone, and of course, creating sensory experiences, the smells, the music, the decor, and of course, preventing conflict and keeping people happy. Ladies, it's labor. It's invisible labor. And it is so often undervalued labor. Just listing those things, I'm exhausted. When I'm thinking about everything that I've done in the past, making sure that the house smells and looks like Christmas and it tastes like Christmas, right? Obviously, it was a lot more work when I had young children in the house. Now, I've kind of gotten to the point, okay, I'm not going to lie, I haven't decorated this year, and I'm not going to. My husband put out the two things that we have outside, these little light up things, and I'm not doing anything. Not doing anything else. I almost feel like a stubborn child. However, I am practicing what I preach. I don't have a bunch of people over to my home, and I don't care if it's decorated for the holidays, so I'm not doing it. That's my thing that I've decided this year. I'm not decorating. I'm just not. And, here's the psychological reality. When women internalize the belief that they must make the season perfect, the brain's stress response system goes into overdrive. And this can lead to sleep disturbances, irritability, decision burnout, anxiety spikes, emotional exhaustion, resentment, and feeling detached from the holiday itself. Not exactly the joyful spirit that the season is marketed to be, right? And I think because of the things that are going on in my personal life, having to run more than just my own life, I'm exhausted. And so that is sapping my energy. It's draining me. I'm just not in a space where I'm going to give up any more of my time to do all this stuff that I used to do that is not appreciated. So I'm just not freaking doing it. And again, I feel a bit privileged in this because I do not have small children in my house. I can tell you, if I had little kids that were going to be here, either my own children or grandchildren or whatever, I would probably be making different decisions. I would be pushing myself. I would be a little too flexible with my boundaries, and I would make myself miserable, I'm sure. So for those of you that still have little ones running around, I know how hard it is to put yourself in a place of important, but I do encourage you to try to find ways. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about that here in a second. Because first, we have to talk about the real holiday miracle, my favorite B word, boundaries. Okay? Boundaries are not walls. They are self-respect in action. Women are socialized to accommodate, to soften, to absorb, to handle, to not make a big deal, right? So setting boundaries during the holidays feels rebellious because, quite frankly, it is. So let's talk about some actionable boundary strategies that you can actually use this holiday season. Step number 1, say no without the 15-sentence explanation. I cannot say this nearly enough. You do not owe anyone a dissertation. No, I'm not able to do that this year. Period. That's it. That's all you need. And if it feels uncomfortable, then it means you're doing it right. You are allowed to say, I'm not hosting this time. I can't take that on. I won't be participating in that tradition anymore. And you do not owe anyone an explanation. When they ask you why, you simply repeat it. I'm not hosting this time. Why not? I'm unable to host this time, and leave it. Let it sit. I know it feels uncomfortable, but that is healthy boundary setting. And then the next step in enforcing healthy boundaries, delegate like a leader. Not like someone asking for permission, like someone sharing responsibility. This is a big one for those of you who still have kiddos in the house and really want to make the season magical, okay? If you have a partner, say, here are the holiday tasks. Pick which half you're taking. If you have kids, assign age-appropriate tasks, because kids can help more than we think. And if you have guests over and become overwhelmed, do not be afraid to ask for help. It's as easy as saying, hey, Michelle, can you take these out to the table, please? Thanks so much. See? Easy peasy. These are just teeny tiny things that you can do that will give you teeny tiny pieces of your sanity back. Now, step number 3, let go of the perfect holiday fantasy. This is a tough one. I get it. But ladies, burnt cookies are still cookies. Gift bags work just as well as elaborate wrapping. That's my new go-to lately. Everyone's getting a gift bag. You know, I'm just so sick and tired of wrapping. And you know what? Store-bought pie is a blessing. No one will remember your tablescape in 10 years. No one will appreciate the hours of agony that you went through to make your house look flawless. So let go of that perfection. Let go of this fantasy that we have because of the movies that we've watched throughout our lives. And honestly, any of the oohs and ahs that you may get from your efforts are not worth the level of stress that perfectionism causes anyway. Channel your inner Brené Brown and embrace the gifts of imperfection. That has been my saving grace over the last couple of years as I have let go of my own perfectionism. And it applies so strongly during the holiday season. All right, boundary setting step number 4. Set money boundaries without guilt. Easier said than done, I will say that. Financial stress is a major holiday trigger. And this year, for me, it's actually my worst one. Like I said, I've taken on another entire human's life that I'm responsible for. So finances are a challenge lately. So I would encourage you to create a budget before you start shopping, which is probably actually too late for me to tell you by the time this episode releases. So if because it will be released before one of the major holidays in the US, which is Christmas. But you may have gotten your shopping done already. So just how about you look at this as confirmation not to buy anymore, okay? So this year you can say, and I encourage you to apply this next year also. Save this podcast if you need to. Take notes. Put it as a reminder in your phone. I don't care. So say things like, we're doing smaller gifts this year. Or it's a one gift holiday for the kids. Or this is what I can comfortably spend, right? We don't need to let finances set the tone for the holidays. And the final boundary action step here in this one is really, really important. Protect your emotional energy. Plan your exits. Have a grounding ritual. Give yourself moments to decompress. And a few tools are stepping outside for fresh air. If things become overwhelming, just take a second. Breathe in some nice, fresh air, even if it's freezing cold like it is here in New York. Or excuse yourself for a bathroom mindfulness break, right? You can go in the bathroom, close the door, be away from everyone, take a few deep breaths, or, maybe put some lotion on your hands and just take a minute and smell the lotion, feel the lotion, using all of your senses, except for taste. Please do not taste the lotion. Keep water with you, because we often get dehydrated when we're out socializing, doing this and that, if you're having a few drinks, right? Another interesting tool is to hold onto a grounding object. I actually have a rock. This sounds so weird, but I have a rock in one of my coat pockets that has meaning to me that I'm not going to share right now, but sometimes I will just reach into that pocket and I will touch the rock if I'm feeling like I need to ground myself. And then finally, use a mantra, like, I'm allowed to take care of myself, right? Say that over and over and over. Or say things like, I matter too. Or I'm not going to be of any use to anyone if I don't take care of myself, right? So again, self-care, really important. Protect that emotional energy this holiday season. All right, now I'm going to ask you something that I don't know if anyone's ever asked you, because I don't think anyone's ever asked this of me. This is a feminist reframe. My question is, what do you want? This is where the empowerment kicks in. If you stripped away expectations, if you ignored judgment, if you stopped performing the role, what would your holiday season actually look like? Ask yourself, what do I genuinely enjoy about this season? What drains me every year? Which traditions still feel good and which don't? What would a nourishing holiday feel like in my body? What memories do I want this year, not what I'm creating for others? Because, ladies, you get to rewrite the script. You get to choose. You get to design a holiday that honors your energy, your joy, your rest, and your values. When I've asked myself these questions, honestly, I want to sit in my pajamas for half the day, drinking tea or hot chocolate or whatever I want, and not having to make elaborate meals with many courses and all that stuff, right? So maybe you and I together, maybe we'll have the holiday that we want. And you know what? What you want this year might look very different than what you want next year or what you wanted last year. It doesn't have to be a permanent shift. So I encourage you, reflect on this. What do you want this holiday season to look like? And then make it happen. All right. My final set of action steps are going to be how to bring about a peaceful, powerful holiday season. We're going to go a little bit deeper. So these are the things that you can start applying today. And the first one is to create a holiday intention ritual. So pick a word or a theme. It could be peace, or simplicity, or slowness, or connection, or play, or healing, or rest. When you pick your intention, let that intention guide your decisions. And then the next step, and this one is really important, schedule rest like a non-negotiable appointment. Block off evenings or add buffer days after family events. Write rest on your calendar so you physically see it. Guard that time like it's yours and yours alone, because it is. And then step 3, choose 3 things to let go of this year. That's right, I said it, 3, not 1, 3. Traditions evolve, and you are allowed to evolve too. So drop some of those things that have been draining you. And then step number 4, communicate expectations early and clearly. People can handle your boundaries better than you think. So try saying, I won't be hosting this year, or we're simplifying gifts, or we're doing potluck style this time. Obviously, the earlier the better. And again, this advice may be coming a little late for some of your comfort zones. So think about it for the next gathering. And finally, create a personal joy ritual. Something that is only for you with no utility for anyone else. Having tea at night. Having silent mornings. A candle ritual. Solo walks. Holiday journaling. Meditation under the tree. A book and a blanket. A bath with no interruptions. Your joy matters. Ladies, this holiday is just as much for you as it is for anyone else. All right, this week's quote comes from the incomparable Maya Angelou, and I think it is perfect for this season. And she says, "You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody." So ladies, I tell you, I advise you, I encourage you to carry that into every room you walk into this season. Carry it into every decision. Carry it into every moment you start to second guess yourself. You have nothing to prove to anybody. You are enough without being the magic maker. You are enough without performing. You are enough without doing all the things for all the people. You are enough. All right, my favorite hive in the world. If this episode spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of your worth, or gave you the permission slip you didn't know you needed, share it with another woman who could use this message. And of course, come join us in the Hint Hive Facebook community, where we talk about empowerment, boundaries, healing, and rewriting the stories that we were handed. And you know what? If you're looking for a last-minute gift for a tea lover, get them a tea subscription from Tea Runners. You can click the link down in the episode description. and you can get a 10% discount. So for anyone needing a last minute gift. All right, Hive, I will see you in the next episode. And remember, you are powerful, you are worthy, and you do not have to carry the holidays or anything else all on your own. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out KellyMHint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out TheCrankyCounselor.com.